Hi all, I'm Professor Tina Good, and this video is a brief discussion on how to write a works cited page. Okay, so the works cited page we are going to be talking about is pretty much an MLA page, and what I'm going to be showing you first is a PowerPoint, and then I'm going to be showing you a sample document. I don't really know if Zoom will allow me to switch back and forth. So between the documents, so I'm going to show you them in that order. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to show you the PowerPoint first. Okay, and so what we're going to look at is first the difference between the two most, uh, you know, uh, academically used citation formats, and that's MLA and APA. Okay, MLA is developed by the Modern Language Association, and that's primarily used by the humanities. APA is the American Psychological Association, and that's primarily used by the social sciences and sometimes the sciences. Okay, the important thing here is that these are just guidelines, all right? That you must make sure that you follow the instructions. So if you're in an English class or communications class, and they say use APA, then you use APA. If you're in a history class and they say use MLA, then you use MLA. Okay, they do differ in their format, and so you will want to pay attention to those associations and how they tell you to format. But this video is primarily going to go over MLA. If you're using APA or some other sort of citation format, this video will be less useful for you, although it will help you know what to look for and what questions to ask. Okay, so what is the difference between a bibliography and a works cited page? All right, again, I'm referring to MLA here, and a bibliography is all of the references that you looked up, that you read when you were doing the research for your essay. Okay, so even if you're not citing it in your essay, it's everything that you read in order to get to your final product. Okay, works cited page is only those sources that you cited within the essay itself. Okay, now MLA generally only requires a works cited page, but again, follow the instructions, right? Sometimes your professor might want you to do a bibliography and a works cited page, right? Sometimes they might want you to do an annotated bibliography and a works cited page. In my class, usually I'm only requiring a works cited page. I may ask you to do an annotated bibliography as a part of your writing process, but in your final product, I'm only going to be asking for a works cited page or a page that cites the sources that you have actually used in the essay. What is the purpose of a works cited page? A works cited page is to assist your reader in finding the source for your evidence that you used in the essay, right? And so hopefully, like in your traditional written text, you know that you'll give them the citation of the source, and then also the page number, so they can go right to it and find exactly the data that you're providing. Another thing that is useful, and again, this is for researchers, maybe they're interested in your topic, maybe they're actually using your essay as part of their research, right? And so the works cited page gives them a sort of document that they can use for conducting further research on their own. Okay, so it is really more about helping your readers access the research as easily as they can. Yes, of course it is about, plagiarism and proper citation. But, in think about it in another way, it is also about helping your readers find that resource as well as crediting those who should be credited. Where does the works cited page go? It goes at the very end of your essay on a separate page. Okay. So what do I mean by that? I mean, let's say that your conclusion only takes up the first paragraph of the page and you have like the whole rest of the page left. You cannot put your works cited on the bottom of that page. You have to go to the next page and do your works cited. Okay. It does continue with the page numbering. So if your conclusion is on page 5 and your works cited page is on the next page, you still call that page 6. It just must be, on a page of its own. How do you format it? Okay, so in addition to being the last page of your essay, you will have a title. And that title is Works Cited, just Works Cited, no quotation marks or anything like that, no all caps, nothing like that, just Works Cited, but it should be centered, okay? As you might center any title on any page, okay? And then just like the rest of your essay, it's entirely double spaced Times New Roman 12. Okay, that's the standard MLA guideline, unless of course, your assignment says differently. Okay, so it's double spaced. You don't single space your references. It is completely still double spaced. Okay, and so you go from the works cited page, the simple double space to the next line. Not a triple space, not two double spaces, but a simple double space to the next line, and then you start listing your citations. Okay, you list those in alphabetical order by the author's last name, assuming that you know the author that has produced the text. And then if your citation takes more than one line, right, then you indent all lines after the first line. Okay, so you do not indent the first line, you do not put a number, you do not bullet point your citations, right? You just simply double space, type your citation. If your citation does go on to a second and third line, then you indent your second and third line. Okay, and I'll show you an example of that in just a second. The way that you decide how to cite it is going to be based on the different types of publications that you use, whether it's a video, whether it's a journal, whether it's a book, all different kinds of sources are now available because of the internet and the way that we access information. And you will have to look up in the manual, essentially, how your particular source is documented on a works cited page. Okay, almost everything is online now, so you can go on MLA. We're currently in the 9th edition. Look it up and simply type it in the type of publication that you're going to cite, and it will show you how to cite that. There are various types of engines out there that will give you MLA or APA. Be careful with those, but they can be useful. So you can say what kind of publication you're citing and then type it in and it'll generate a citation. It is a sort of garbage in, garbage out. So that citation will be based on how well you put in your information. Okay. And the thing that you want to pay attention to is you want to pay attention to the capitalization, you want to pay attention to the spelling, and you want to pay attention to the punctuation. Okay. You want to pay attention to whether or not it's a period or a comma. You want to pay attention to quotation marks. You want to pay attention to whether or not it's italicized or not italicized. Okay. All of these things are important and have meaning. Okay. So it's a kind of tedious work, but you want to make sure that you pay attention to it no matter what format you're using. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at a sample page. I'm going to go and stop sharing this. and then share a Microsoft Word document. Okay, and here's a typical works cited page. All right. So notice here we just put at the top centered works cited, no quotation marks, no capitalization, just the works and cited is capitalized. It's not all capitalized. Okay. And then you'll notice that here's the citations. Presumably, this comes from an essay that you have cited perhaps all four of these sources. Okay. So notice that this is all alphabetical according to author's last name, right? So we have C, we have G, we have H, and we have J. And that's how you'll do it. And that's very important. Notice there's no numbers here. There's no bullet points. There's nothing like that here. Notice that this part of it is not indented. Okay. Only the second or the second and third line is indented. So how do we know the difference when we're starting a new citation? It's because it's not indented. Okay, so we can see, right, where our new citations are. Okay, and so you'll simply type in, what the type of source that you're using, and it'll generate, the type of citation format you should use. Okay, so this first one is a short story within an anthology, right? So here is the name of the author. Notice there's a comma, right, between the last name and the first name, and then a period. That's what I'm saying. Pay very close attention to the punctuation, okay? And then you'll have quotation marks, right? In this case, the quotation marks are designating that this is a short story or a short article, right? So quotation marks. Notice the period. This is what you have. You have to pay attention to these kinds of things, right? And then, you'll notice all the other stuff that you're familiar with, right? You give the name of the book that it's in. Notice that that is italicized with a period. This has editors, so you name the editors according to it. You give the edition according to the format. You give the publisher, the town that the publisher is in. Notice, right? We have periods, we have commas, we have proper capitalization. This is what you pay attention to, okay? And you have the date of publication, and then you have the page numbers. All right. Now, if we go down here, right, this is a non-traditional one. This is a video, right? And so you're going to put your link in, right, where you found the video. Okay. You put the link in here. You, of course, give the title, you give the author, and then you give the year that you accessed it. Okay. Because, websites can change, right? So maybe that's going to change. And so you have to give them enough information. So if the website has changed, they can find it in some other way. Okay. So let's take a look at this. How might a reader use this? Okay. So let's say that this is in your essay and you say, Sandra Cisneros writes, and then you give the quote. In English, my name means hope. And then you give the page number. Okay. So the reader looks at this and goes like, I might want to look this up more. So they look at it and it says Sandra Cisneros. So now they're going to go back up to the works cited page, or over to at the end, the works cited page, and they're going to look to Sandra Cisneros. Now you have provided them with all the information they need to look up this source as well as the page number. Okay, so that's how it should be working, right? That they're cross-referencing what you have cited in the beginning of your essay when you actually brought in the citation, right? And then cross-reference it with the works cited page so that the researchers or your readers can go like, you know what, I'd like to read this story. Where can I find it? And you provided them with that information. Okay. So I hope that you have found this video useful when doing a works cited page, especially for an MLA document. And I will have this PowerPoint as well as the sample posted along with this video. Okay, so have a great day and good luck with your essays.